Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And welcome everyone to Talking Fishing. It might feel like winter out there, that cold change that comes through today, pretty awful. But anyway, we're going to try and punch through it. Lots of fishing to be talked about. And this is the second last show of the season. We always have a break at the end of April, right through to September. So second last week. Next week is the big, is the big show and the last show of the year. But tonight we're joined by a couple of special guests. We have a couple of fisheries officers. Always a good chat to have with fisheries officers about life as a fisheries officer. And in particular, we've gone far and wide around the state. And Maggie Brown, welcome to the show.
Thank
You're
you
from
very much.
Mallacoota.
I am. I'm from Mallacoota.
Oh,
yes.
That's like the furthest station away.
It is. It is. You can't get any further. You're across the border at that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
No stranger to the show. Rod Barber, you were on December 2015, about show number 7, I reckon. We were still on the couch.
Time flies.
Doesn't it?
Sure does.
I remember, Rod, I reckon it was the week after. I'm out on the boat, off the Sisters, had the hat and sunglasses on and the shirt off, and I've got this bloody jet ski coming towards me. I'm going, have a look at this guy coming up to me. And I reckon you come up and said, Rod Barber, Fisheries. I said, David Kramer, Talking Fishing. And that was a week after you're on the show.
And you had your licence.
And I did have my licence.
But then you booked him for having no licence.
Have you got a PwC endorsement on your boat? Like,
I do.
Just checking it off.
I don't actually need one, but that's all right.
Oh, don't you? Oh, no.
Yeah, he wanted to write you up for having your shirt off, mate.
I think he did too.
Crimes against humanity.
Good fishing down in your neck of the woods, I can tell you. We're going to talk about that plenty of time tonight. Ads,
It was 9 degrees when I pulled up here this afternoon, Dave. It was 9 degrees.
Raining.
I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready.
No, I know.
Bring back
Second last
summer.
show, though. Yeah, well, it's gone for a while.
I know.
All good.
Charlie, cold change hit Shepparton today?
Yeah, cold change up there. The big cod will start to come out.
Yep.
You watch the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, be some big
Isn't
fish
that
caught.
exciting that the cod come out when it gets
It is.
cold?
That's right.
Anyway,
Really do.
all right, into it. Big show. Maggie, how long have you been a fisheries officer for?
I've been 5 years. I've been a fisheries officer. I've just
Yep.
passed my 5-year mark. So
Wow.
yeah, very much enjoying the job.
Halfway to
still.
long service
That's
leave.
right. That's right. I'll start, hopefully be able to travel then back again. So
Rod?
yeah.
You got a big pension coming your way. How many years in the job?
30.
30 years. Wow.
Starting to tell.
Just a pup.
What
Always
was
different.
back in the day? What was the recruit? Or how did you get the job? And what was the training like back
Well,
then?
back then, a job got advertised, you applied for it and went for it, and then when enough
One
people-
job.
Well, there might be
yeah.
one or two here and
Yeah.
there as vacancies came up, and then once you got the job, you'd start working and be trained by the people that you work with.
Yep.
And then when there was enough new recruits, might be 6 months, 8 months, then you'd do a 6-week compliance course, enforcement course, which was
really?
run by fisheries officers primarily and prosecutions officers. So it was practical and theoretical, and
Yep.
good course. Not
Yeah.
that dissimilar to the course that we run now.
Yeah.
But
Maggie, 5 years ago, well, how'd you get the job and what'd you do?
Yeah, so I came in the 2006 recruitment process. So the only probably difference with Rod's recruitment is mine was a bulk recruitment. So we had 9 fisheries officers start at once.
Yep.
And that facilitated us to go into an 8-week intensive training program based at Queenscliff. So all in-house. We had fisheries officers from around the state come and teach us the various aspects of the job, and it was fantastic. I got to learn such a great deal from having a number of influences, and it was an excellent
And the induction
program.
video was in colour.
That's right.
thanks, mate.
I like that one.
We didn't have mobile phones.
One point to answer there. We're getting yelled at, folks. Let's have a look at what's been caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano.
Now, the first one, bit of a story, I'm going to read it. Dear David, I don't recall seeing one of these in your Catch of the Week segments, so I thought you might be interested in the attached picture. The fish was caught in the 9th Rill Phillip Island Angling Club comp on Sunday in Western Port, and it weighed 2,544 grams, so 2.5 kilos there. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at the photo. There is some doubt at our club about the correct name for the fish in Victoria. In your expert opinion, is it a pike or a snook? It's
Same.
the same thing.
Same thing.
Short fin pike
Is a snook.
is a snook and has about 8 different other names if you Google it.
Snike.
But the emphasis, Rod, and you're the expert here, is that that back fin, isn't it? It's
the
quite
back.
short there. Now there is,
It's
so
the
that's
anal fin, the one on the bottom.
yep. So that's a snook
Yeah.
or a short fin pike. Have a look at the next photo. That's a long finned pike.
You see the fin's a lot longer at the base than what it
Yep.
is high.
Yep.
That's
They're
the
fairly
difference.
similar.
Nah, it's
When you
quick.
actually put them next to each other, it's
They're
quite
completely
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And the snook grow a lot longer than that short fin pike.
You do see some really big ocean long fin
do you?
pike, and that's where you can get caught out.
Yeah.
Off the bottom of Cape Shank, places like that.
Yep. Okay. There you go.
Nice.
That's the first catch of the week. Bit of controversy there because no one knows pike, snook, or whatever.
Yeah.
People debate it in the shops all the time. And anyway, I think I know now. Have a look at this one. Lovely southern calamari from Homestead Point in Western Port by Ricky Kay. Some good squid getting around at the
Where's
moment.
Homestead Point? In Western Port.
Phillip Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ricky
In
knows.
that over the bridge, turn left, just there.
Yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah. All right, over to Port Phillip. Amy Day, some lovely King George whiting coming from the Sorrento moorings at the moment. Amy was co-hosting last week.
That's right.
right.
There you go. And she's already sent in a photo.
Yeah, look at that.
How good's that?
That's right.
There you go.
Not
well
bad,
done.
Rugged up for winter.
Yeah. One of your mob ads, Steve Vesey. Have a look at this
Superstar.
93 centimetre gummy off Werribee South. How good's that?
What do you say, mob? Oh, kayak.
Kayak.
exactly.
Ah, one of them critters.
Wouldn't have caught that fish if you'd have boat.
Yeah, right.
Got on you, Steve.
Keep punching through Apollo Bay. Thank God the Apollo Bay bakery didn't burn down because half of
that's
Apollo
right.
Bay did last week. But the scallop pies from Apollo Bay are just so good.
nice.
They do have, I know someone wrote to us this week, I don't know if we're covering it in whatever, but they do have gluten-free down there. But anyway, apart from that, Logan Hall got a nice snapper off there. I don't know. This next one's controversial, right? Maggie and Rod, you shouldn't comment if you want to keep your careers. Anyway, let's have a look at Travis Dowling Murray Cod.
Oh, Trav holding Katie's fish again.
Ah,
You reckon it's Katie's?
Yeah, it's Katie's for sure.
I reckon that's Anthony Forrester's.
I reckon it's Dallas. I reckon Dallas caught that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's try and find out. Rod, maybe you can get some in.
Smart choice, Rod.
Alrighty, let's keep going. Tyler Methers. Have a look at this 1.22 kilo brim
Oh, it's good
Lake
brim.
Centris Methers family down there for the school holidays. That's a cracking brim.
Big brim,
That is a
both.
great brim.
Yeah. And now there is a slot limit,
Correct.
not in Mallacoota,
Mallacoota,
but in the
no,
Gippsland
in the
Lake,
Gippsland
so they've got to
Lakes.
put those
Yeah.
ones back. So, all right, Jukesy wrote to us. Jukesy had about 8 photos. He's had the school holidays down at Mallacoota. Said it's fishing sensationally. Have a look at this for a tailor in the lake. That's equal to those big ones that are around in Lake
Yeah.
Tyers.
Yeah.
So you've got
Good
lots
tailor.
of big
Yeah,
tailor
we
in the
have
lake.
some really large tailor, a lot of fun to catch.
Yeah.
and, everyone's been enjoying it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Easy to find, like look for the
Yeah.
birds, all
Great
that sort of
for
stuff.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Now that the entrance is open, a lot
Yeah.
of them are congregating, so they've done
Yeah.
very well.
And another one from Mallacoota, Hannah Smagilla. Have a look at this, 81 centimetres
Oh,
of
it's a
dusky
big
flathead.
dusky.
Wonderful.
Oh, that is good to see.
That's a cracking fish.
Someone said to me that the duskies are all gone in Mallacoota as well.
No,
and
there's one left.
No,
certainly
we
not.
Yeah,
Well
we
done,
see
Hannah.
some very beautiful large fish.
Do you, in your travels around the lake,
Mm-hmm.
like, do you see a mix, like years of recruitment and that? Are they going all right?
Yeah, no, it is really positive to see multiple different age classes, which is, a really good sign for the
Yep.
fishery. So we
Yep.
are seeing some really good large fish being caught, but
Yep.
then, we still get a lot of 30 centimetre fish,
Yeah.
and a lot of 35 centimetre fish, so
Yeah.
it's great to see.
The prawns been running in Mallacoota?
They were quite small over summer, but they're definitely there. So,
Yeah, good to see. If you'd like to send in a pick of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au. Go Pies!
Yeah, I wanna go fishing
Coming up next, fisheries news, including news that the cod season will not close in some parts of Western Victoria. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See you down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
Welcome back to Talking Fishing. In the house tonight, Maggie Brown, Fisheries Officer at Mallacoota, Rod Barber, Senior Fisheries Officer down at Mornington, and plenty to talk about with them. But fisheries news first. The headline reads, Victoria reels in record fish stocking milestone. The Andrews Labor government has reached its target of stocking 8 million fish into Victoria's iconic rivers and lakes over the past 12 months, bolstering fishing opportunities for the future. The record stocking was an exciting achievement and included landmark stocking events such as the Victorian first release of dusky flathead fingerlings and increased efforts to boost Macquarie perch populations. Of the 8 million fish, around 1.5 million were salmonids such as rainbow and brown trout and Chinook salmon. The remaining 6.5 million were native species such as Murray cod, golden, silver and estuary perch. More than 2.9 million golden perch, 2.8 million Murray cod and 368,000 Australian bass were stocked, as well as 280, these are staggering numbers.
Massive numbers.
284,000 estuary perch, 54,000 Macquarie perch. Several waters received record Murray cod stockings this year, including 609,000 into Rocklands Reservoir in Western Victoria, 125,000 into Lanakori, I think it is, Lanakori Reservoir near Maryborough, and 15,000 into Lake Boga in the state's north. Other record stockings included I'm going to have a trouble saying, Arboretum, whatever it is, dam at Euroa, scoring a record 8,000 silver perch. Upper Coliban Reservoir in central Victoria receiving 62,000 golden perch. Gippsland's Lake Glen Maggie getting 63,250 Australian bass. That's a massive amount of fish. Yeah. Rod, when you became a fisheries officer, would have probably been about the tens of thousands of fish that were stocked back then. Yeah. Things have changed, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's... Maggie, I mean, you've got Mallacoota, you've got Lake Tides. They're iconic fisheries now for dusky flathead, and you're probably, you're seeing them all the time. But the Gippsland Lakes, I mean, that is a massive boost to the Gippsland Lakes.
Yeah,
seeing
absolutely.
them stocked.
Yes, yeah, there's been a lot of interest in it, and hopefully we'll see the fisheries grow.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to ask you later on about your area. Do you cover Bem River?
Yes, we do.
I'm going to talk to you about Bem River later on.
Excellent.
Right, and I'm sure Adam will too.
Yep.
So, all right, next story. This is an exciting story. The headline reads, year-round cod fishing on the way for Victoria's West. Recreational fishers will be able to fish for Murray cod all year in Victoria's West, with a 3-month closed season to be removed from the Wimmera and Millicent basins, except the Wimmera River. Victorian Fisheries Authority CEO Travis Dowling, who featured in Catch of the Week holding someone else's fish, said extensive consultation has shown strong support from recreational fishers to remove the closed season for Murray cod in the area. Mr Dowling said the annual closed season, which runs from September 1 through to November 30, would remain in the Wimmera River, where Murray cod are more likely to breed and will be afforded the extra protection of the closed season. Removing the closed season for cod at Lake Eildon in 2016 has proved a huge success, and we're confident that this will have similar effect on fisheries in the Wimmera, like Rocklands, Lake Charlie Grark and Taylor's Lake. Trolley, how good has the Eildon been?
Yeah, Eildon's been fantastic as far as the fisheries once they opened it up, and they're probably the VFA as far as their stocking program, the amount of fish over the years, was well put by one who said they're a victim of their own success, because now they've got sort of people trying to look after the big cod, but they'll put their for that reason.
Yeah.
And we'll see the same down the Western Districts. I mean, it gives a focus to some more anglers down there to fish for Murray cod. I mean, they've got the gear for Murray cod. They probably go up to mole whalers, so now they can fish locally.
Yeah.
And you'll continue to see those numbers of fish rise down there, and give someone else the opportunity to catch Murray cod in those. And they're all still waters, like you mentioned. The rivers themselves, the flowing rivers. So it's been proven that by the majority of these fish in these systems are stocked fish. So it's a great result. It's a good achievement.
All right. Last one here is. This is the results of the lobster tagging program from last year. And we'll show a photo of some of the tagged lobster. A total of 4,395 rock lobster were caught during season 3 of the tagging program, but it's much lower than season 1, which was 7,925. Season 2 was 6,834. So they think that's due to the bushfires and COVID-19. The season has had the highest number of registered fishers, but the lowest number of used tags reported due to limited opportunity. Warrnambool had the highest numbers of fishers and highest tag use for all of 3 seasons. The most common age group of registered fishers is in the 30 to 40 year age group. However, there has been a steady increase in the proportion of fishers in the under 20 to 30 age group. Rod and Maggie, I don't know how much enforcement or how much you look at people taking rock lobster, but it's now mandatory. What, they have to report them on an app or something, don't they? That they're fish.
That's what it's moving to. Yeah.
Yes,
Have you had much to do? Like, are you finding people with them? Is it been successful? Is there high compliance with the program?
Look, there's some validation work that we're doing to determine if people are reporting accurately when we do check them out in the field.
Yep.
There's some issues there in some cases.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that we're seeing are using the tags and getting them on. But it's always some work in those areas, because if that information is not accurate, then we can't manage the fishery properly.
Yeah. If it is accurate, it's probably the best measure of any fishery.
Vital information. Because we've never had it before.
Yeah.
Particularly for a high valued,
it's priority
resources.
species.
Yeah. So, and you talk about priority species. So, rock lobster, abalone, southern bluefin tuna, Murray cod.
Yep.
Is that right? So, which come with a way higher penalty if you're caught doing the wrong thing.
Especially for serious breaches.
Yeah. I went to Tasmania for Christmas. And I saw lobster pots everywhere. And I came back and I, knocked on Travis's door. In fact, I think I had him on the show. And I said, hey, what about lobster pots for Victoria? And really, I think the lobster...
it's a different fishery.
Yeah. And I think there's zones, isn't there?
Well, it's just especially in the eastern zone, our ground that carries lobster doesn't go out as far as what it does in some of the other parts of the state and some of the other states.
Yeah.
You can use hoop nets, so you don't have to be a diver to catch lobster. You're allowed to use up to 2 marine hoop nets. Yeah. So if you want to go out...
Do you think anyone does that though, Rod? Because
in some areas, certainly in the Western District, it's quite popular. Not as many in the Eastern, maybe up your way.
Mallacoota, people go for rock lobster?
They do. It's we do have some recreational fishers who do enjoy diving, and we've seen increases over the summer with visitors wanting to start on the tag program.
I'd be scared of great whites around your area.
It can be a wild part of the world, but no, generally people are really enjoying it.
Yeah. There you go. All right, well, that's fisheries news. Couple of questions. Let's get back onto the recruitment. There's a new, there was a media release back in early March about a new career as a fisheries officer. If you want one, there was some traineeships offered. Tell us a bit about that. Rod, you all over that?
Well, there's another recruitment run similar to Maggie's block, but and so that'll be, I'm not sure how many that they're going to actually select from that. Yeah, but it's been advertised, and
people do from what I read, a 12-month like cadetship almost before they're selected for the job.
So generally they'll go into, it'll be a similar process to what my recruitment went through, and what the recruitment following that. So they will do that 8 to 9 week intensive training program in-house. Then they'll come out and enter their stations. And then during that preceding 12 months, they'll learn the job, gain their hands-on skills. They may travel and work at other stations to get different types of experience.
And we'll have a logbook type arrangement where people have checked off certain skills and competencies.
Yeah, and they can put in place all the aspects of the training they learnt in that in-house course and put that to practice.
You didn't know, Dave, but I actually went work experience as a fisheries and wildlife officer.
You did?
Yeah, with a guy called Jim Crozier from Shepparton.
Yeah. Were you allowed to carry a gun?
Yeah. He carried a pistol at the time. We had him in the office. And
that's why you wanted the job.
We had to go and find poachers, and I was afraid it was probably my dad's. Sorry.
Oh, I knew there was going to be something.
That's true.
Hey, one of the things, Victoria's population is one of the most culturally diverse. What's some of the challenges that you come across with? There's different cultures, and earlier on you were saying about really a lot of them are entry-level fishers.
Yeah, but so it's no different when you have anyone that starts off fishing.
Yeah.
If they're given good information.
Yep.
And that's probably the challenge, is getting the information to the culturally and linguistically diverse communities is a bit more difficult than mainstream. So that's probably the biggest challenge. But our department has our education unit do great work in that area where they go out to festivals in some of these communities and have very specific information that's sometimes written in different languages as well, and so certainly lifted our game in the last few years in that area, getting information to all those different communities.
Is compliance as high with non-English speaking?
In some areas, it's higher.
Yes.
This is a common thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Without speaking about particular groups, but some groups, their compliance with fishing licences and stuff like that is far and above.
Wow.
Your average 25-year-old white Caucasian male that tends to run the gauntlet. So, very high in some areas. And obviously in other areas, the temptation...
It's one of those things, Charlie, and Mary is an Italian background.
Yeah.
They were eating calamari while we were still using it for bait, and so you've got these these cultures that they're way ahead of the game.
Cultural insights.
They eat stuff and cook stuff way better than we do. And not being racist there, but it is fantastic. Rod, one of the I guess the controversial things on the Mornington Peninsula over the last couple of years is the spider crab season. Spider crabs come into the bay. They're
there. They're there all the time.
Are they? Yeah, but they come in close to shore.
The information that we're seeing or hearing from some of the expert divers that dive around the bay is that they're just scattered out.
Yeah.
So it's just that time of the year where they aggregate, and we think the scientists think it's for protection while they're in that vulnerable stage of molting.
Yeah.
They come into the shallows. When they come into the shallows, and sometimes they find themselves in a spot where they can be fished quite readily, and that's where the conflict arises.
There's a reduced bag limit now, is there?
Yeah, there's a reduced bag limit until the 31st of January next year.
Yep.
And that's to better equitably share the resource, because obviously there's a conflict between the user groups. Some people want to look at them and at the majestic situation that occurs when they all aggregate, and some people still want to catch them, and we have to cater for that.
Yeah.
The stocks aren't threatened, but the issue is obviously the footprint that the irresponsible fishers leave, the thousands of cigarette butts, cable ties, bait discarded in the form of chicken carcasses, which is quite confronting. The plastic containers that the bait comes in, left on the piers. And if it wasn't for our clean teams and the contract cleaners down on the Southern Peninsula at that time, which was quite confronting at 4 o'clock in the morning, the piles of rubbish around the bins and out on the piers.
And that's an issue, Rod, that stems further than just the spider crabs.
Absolutely.
Just wherever you're going to get congregation. I mean, the piers are as loaded as they've ever been. Charlie, usually the campers up your way as well. Really, you just got to look out for it, because it's very easily taken away. That's probably the
So that's something
story.
we'll work fairly forcefully.
You guys got jurisdiction on rubbish.
We've got jurisdiction for litter. We'll work on that. And we'll definitely obviously be working on ensuring compliance with fishing licence requirements and the bag limit.
And it's part of our responsible fishing education is to make sure people are taking
and people have got to have social licence to fish. I mean, they've got to do the right thing.
That's right.
They're absolutely yelling in my ear. We're going to get a break. So after the break, coming up, product of the week, and Cara heads into the kitchen for a Mother's Day delight. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
We have just come out of the greatest bluefin tuna fishery and season that we've had locally, and we transition into the Portland season, I guess. And it's no better time to talk about how to care for your fish if you're preparing it for the table. Now, this kit that I'm about to show you can see on your screen right now, was developed by Dr. Paul Hardy-Smith, who we have had on the show before. He knows, what he knows about this sort of stuff is just mind-blowing. He put together this little kit to help you prepare A-grade, world-class fish that you can catch, and we can catch in our home waters. It's quite simple. It comes in this handy little travel bag, so that can be washed down, no worries at all, so you don't have to worry about rust or anything like that. I'll get that out of the way because that's the non-practical bit. Now, there's a process to this. The first thing, and very important, is a brain spike. It dispatches the fish.
Trilly has one of them every Saturday night.
Yeah, I know. Well, it dispatches the fish quickly and humanely, which is a huge thing because there's such a high activity fish. There's blood everywhere. There's no, I guess, clean way to do this, but it's crucially important for the best quality meat. Brain spike first, then just behind the pectoral fins runs the lateral line. If you just nick that, so that has got a tiny little blade on it, and that is designed specifically so that you can sever that artery, but not damage too much flesh.
That's the lateral line.
Or get into the
Lateral
guts
line.
or anything and have any of the meat contaminated.
That's
too.
right. So you're literally just piercing that, so you're basically bleeding the fish after it's been spiked. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and I must admit, I didn't know too much about this, so I did a little bit of research. This is actually really cool. So where the spike has gone into the head to kill the brain, that one, then goes to this. Basically what that's going to do, it basically cores out a small section, basically where that spike's gone in, which opens up you basically where the spinal cord of the fish is, and that's where this goes in.
What's that?
It's basically a stiff piece of wire. You pass that through the spinal cord, and that severs all the nerve endings right throughout the spinal cord of the fish, because, as you know with the tuna, once it's been spiked, bled, the muscles still contract. That spinal cord is still working. So there is a video you can watch on this, and Dr. Paul Hardy-Smith explains it beautifully. After the fish has been brain spiked and it's dead, the heart can still beat for up to 2 minutes. So it's not like you have to rush and really get this stuff done, but the quicker you get it done, the better the meat. So after the fish has been dispatched and bled, the nerve endings that are connected to the spinal cord still work, and it's actually putting pressure on the flesh. It's contracting, which means tougher meat. That's where this comes in handy. You feed that down the hole made by that. It's called pithing.
Who's that?
Pithing. It's like going to the toilet with a lisp. But that gets rid of all of the nerve endings, and then you gut it, gill it, and pack it with ice. And that is world class. Like I'm talking, it is almost insane how much money.
And those kits are available in tackle shops.
Any good local tackle store, go and ask for a pan aquatic tuna toolkit. It will get that done, and you'll have world class meat on your table.
Rod, you actually mentioned something about the quality of the meat, longer lasting.
Yeah, longer lasting because the adrenaline doesn't break down the flesh, and a more complex flavour. So. It's been well known by quality chefs that if a fish is looked after properly, it can last.
I don't know if you guys saw
week and a half, 2 weeks.
Well, you wouldn't have seen it because it's tonight's news and we're in here, but last night a record southern bluefin tuna was brought into Coffs Harbour, 271 kilos.
Oh, wow.
Caught a long liner.
We're going to need a bigger picture.
I'll tell you what, he had a beautiful little nick right on the artery. You can see that in the photo. So we've got to get to Cara. She's in the kitchen waiting for us. And here you go, Mother's Day special. It's on in 2 weeks' time. Have a look at this.
Tonight's recipe is for the kids, dads and partners out there. It's a great Mother's Day brunch recipe. Great way to spoil that special lady in your lives. Now, there's very little cooking involved, so you do not need to be a cook or a chef by any means for this one. We're going to make some beautiful gourmet smoked salmon bagels. All of these ingredients are readily available from the supermarket. We've got some beautiful fresh dill and some fresh chives, a packet of bagels, smoked salmon, you could use smoked trout, lemon, I've got cream cheese, cucumber, and we're going to use beetroot relish for that little bit of zing. And for something a little different, we're going to add these beautiful capers. Now, capers are going to add a lovely salty and vinegary flavour to this bagel. I'm going to peel some cucumber ribbons. So we'll just discard the first couple with the skin, and then we're just going to peel these, and they're going to give us lovely ribbons, which are going to be very decorative onto our bagels. Now I'm using a spreadable cream cheese for this dish. To jazz it up, we're going to finely chop some of the chives and add those in there, which we're going to spread over the bagels. So you can use as much or as little chives as you like, but it's going to add beautiful colour as well to the dish. The only cooking required in this dish is to toast our bagel. So we'll cut these in half, and we're just going to place them into the grill until they're warmed on both the bottoms and the tops. So I'll put those in, then we can build our bagels. Bagels are perfectly toasted. Now it's time to put them together. So this is the simple, easy part. So we are going to very generously layer up our cream cheese. After all, we are spoiling mum. Okay, now onto here, we will add our salmon, and we can be a little bit decorative with it. We can just sort of roll them roughly, twist them around, because it's all about how it looks. And then our ribbons of cucumber, can roll those around our finger. They can look a little bit fancy. Do 3 of those, and then we will sprinkle a couple of capers around. The capers are my favourite part. And on our lid is where we're going to put our beautiful beetroot relish. Not only is it gorgeous colour, but this adds another dimension to the flavours in this beautiful bagel. And to finish it off, we are going to just pull off a few sprigs of the dill. There we are. All that's left to do is make mum a cup of tea or coffee. And there we have our beautiful smoked salmon bagels for your Mother's Day.
And Trelly's just volunteered to do the Father's Day segment. A bit of salmon on a salada biscuit, is it, Trelly? That's
easy.
Yeah, okay. Well done, Cara.
Well
I'll
done,
tell you what,
Cara.
got to go to a break. We're getting yelled at again. Coming up, Kramer's mailbag, and we chat some more with Maggie and Rod next on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsland's Tackle World Kramer. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome back to Talking Fishing. Rod Barber, Senior Fisheries Officer from Mornington, is in the house. Maggie Brown is in the house from Mallacoota. And a bit of mailbag before we get to Rod and Maggie. First one, this is a cracker. Mick writes to us and he goes, here's a photo. This is a protected Queensland groper caught at Patterson River under the bridge by Mick on the 19th of March 2021. And I don't think they should be there. Caught on a soft plastic under the bridge around 1 p.m. It was released back to the water unharmed because it's a protected species in Queensland. Rod, is that a protected species in Victoria? Like, really,
No, it's not.
What would you do if you come across that?
Take a photo.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful fish.
That looks in good nick.
Yeah.
I googled it to make sure. Hey, is that genuine? You know, all the colourings, all the markings, everything. That's a genuine Queensland groper. Why is that under the Patterson River Bridge?
Just currents, movement.
Yeah,
There's
no borders,
no fences in Bass Strait.
Do you see some funny things in your time?
Yeah.
30 years in your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mick looked like a myth buster, but he was just busting the myth.
All right, a couple of good ones here. Hi, David. Enjoyed the show. To cut to the chase, I was a Western Port boat fisher, but 2 years ago I developed a terminal disease and became disabled. It hasn't squashed my desire to pursue my passion. I can no longer use my boat, but have had many kind offers from other fishers to take me out on their boats, but boarding is a problem. I found that the only ramp that has a disability hoist was the one at Patterson River, and it's owned by Parks Victoria. On Western Port, people like myself, and for the safety of their carers, they have to rely on the use of a harness and a hoist. Don't have the pleasure of safely boarding and unboarding a boat for a day's fishing on Western Port. I was hoping you might mention this to the Minister for Boating next time she's on the show. The people with disabilities like to fish out of boats. Also, that was from Mario. Mario, gone one better, gone straight to Catherine Greck at Better Boating Victoria and said, is there a plan for Hastings? Now, there is a second pontoon going to be built at Hastings, running down on the southern side of the ramp. It's going to have full disability access, so a really good ramp, right angle for wheelchairs, and I'm told that they're working very hard on having that hoist installed at the same time. Nice. There will be access at Hastings, so there you go.
We need a couple more too.
One's not enough, like in Port Phillip either, you know.
Other parts of Port Phillip.
And from my experience, that one at Patterson Lakes, I mean, we held Mates Day 2 years ago, didn't have it last year because of COVID, but the operator didn't turn up, and there's only one operator that knows how to, like, it was just, it's hard work. Yeah. All right, keep going. Hi, Kramer and crew, could you please tell us why Listerfield Lake is not part of the VFA's rec fishing program? The lake is already a popular location for cycling, swimming, paddleboarding, canoeing, kayaking, non-powered boating and sailing. It has boat trailer parking, launching and rigging zones and public facilities. Why can't you put a kayak on there? We're going to ask Travis next time when he's on the show. Hi, Dave and crew. I have been getting scallop pies from Traralgon Bakery for the last 4 or 5 years, and they are beautiful, and they get their scallops from Lakes Entrance.
Yep, pop it on the map.
Yeah, we've got to get this map updated. Yep. They're also available at Yarragon Bakery. That's from Alf, not from Home and Away. I shouldn't.
Yeah, don't. You're just leaving yourself.
I've been watching it for 25 years, and it was going to be a big episode tonight. I missed it. This is from Warren. He says Yarragon Bakery has curried scallop pies today when I went in for bread. Not sure if they've been previously stocked them or if they have just started. My missus is now juggling the Yarragon Primary School pie drive list to incorporate them.
Yes.
So the kids at Yarragon Primary School, they're going to get scallop pies. This is big. Not been aware of them being available for the pie drive for the 3 years she's run it in the past. Now, he sent an update this afternoon, went into the bakery at Yarragon. They've always stocked scallop pies. He hasn't tried one because he's gluten-free. Well, if you go to a Apollo Bay, they're actually gluten-free pies. Maggie?
Yes.
Need a challenge here.
Yes.
All right? On the way to Mallacoota, you're going to go through Yarragon.
I am, yes.
And you're going to go through Traralgon.
Yes.
I mean, you could buy a scallop pie and give us a report.
I possibly could. Yes.
Have you ever eaten a scallop pie?
I have. I've had I've had a Tasmanian scallop pie.
Oh,
but
we'll edit that
that doesn't count.
There is a... Where's that
MSG
media
one
release?
for you.
I keep this for every week. Scallop boom on the way for Victoria. We're going from 135 to 979 tonnes. So if you could taste them at Yarragon and Traralgon and report back to the show, all right? If you could. All right, beautiful. All right, if you'd like to write into Kramer's mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Alrighty, Maggie, what area do you cover?
So the Mallacoota area runs from the New South Wales Victorian border all the way down to Pearl Point, which is just to the west of Bem River. So we cover a large geographical area, not highly populated, very remote compared to a lot of other areas, but incredibly diverse, and we're very lucky to have such beautiful areas to work in. Yeah.
How many officers down at
We have
Mallacoota?
4.
Yep.
We have 1 senior fisheries officer and 3 fisheries officers.
Yep.
Yep.
Exciting part of the world.
It is.
Isn't it?
It is.
Bem River, I want to ask you about that, because Bem River was actually a recipient of some dusky flathead stocking and adds a lot of talk with some of the people that we talk to on the 3MP's Talking Fishing program about they don't like seeing 45 cars in the car park, and they think Bem River's overfished. Can you comment about that?
Look, you know, certainly we travel to Bem River very regularly. It's one of our major inlets within our area. We're always seeing good fish come out of there. It's very popular. It's very family friendly. It's got very good launching facilities. I actually believe it has a way for disabled fishers to enter the water for a hoist system. It's a large enough estuary that we see. We do see large amounts of boats on it, but they can be relatively spread out. So I think
boats that you check, are they always got fish?
Look, mostly. We get very good fishers there, very experienced fishers. They'll come for day trips, or they'll come and stay in the parks for a weekend.
So if most boats are getting fish, that says to me there's a lot of fish there.
Yeah, so it's just, I think we've mentioned it before, it's quite an anomaly, Bem River, because in the grand scheme of things, it is a fairly small system. And for a town that you can't even get fuel at, it's so popular, but it works. Yeah. It works. And I'm sure I'd still maintain, I've said it before, if the VFA thought there was an issue with overfishing, the appropriate science would be done to prove it. But at the same time, my personal opinion, it's not worth them even looking at the moment, because it fishes well consistently. I think it's got a really nice mix of being open and closed. So it does self-sustain really well. It gets the appropriate levels of that fresh salt water coming from the ocean to fill the system and give it a good flush out when need be. It's just working. I don't know what it does, but it's working, and it is the best place on earth.
Rod, they're giving us the wind-up already, right? But I've got to ask you this. Has the Mornington Peninsula got busier?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. 30 years. You've been to Mornington the whole time?
27 of that.
Long enough. It's got busier?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
It's a great place.
Yeah.
And it's close.
Yeah.
People have discovered it. And there's a lot more people in Melbourne. You've got to understand the population of Melbourne's increased dramatically.
Yeah.
So just
a great place to be. Yeah.
And it is a beautiful part of the world. You've hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's successful.
From us, well, it's already out. But I mean, what we're seeing is the people that said, that these species that thrive in high currents and so forth in Western Port, they've all discovered that those same currents exist in Port Phillip, but just down the southern end. And the big breeding calamari, the kingfish, the King George whiting. I mean, they're as good as any place in Western Port that people used to rave about. It's good fishing. Yellowtail kingfish. I mean, they've made a pretty big comeback.
Bluefin tuna.
It's good. Not in my boat yet, but
no. You need to come out with me, mate. No, it's good. I just love the yellowtail kingfish, and I think there may be a story in tomorrow's Herald Sun about the new kingfish reef that's planned. So there's some pretty big things planned. All right, getting the wind up. Coming up next, hotspots. We chat some more with Maggie, and we want to know a bit more about Mallacoota. Is just beautiful. I want to hear more about it. Okay, after the break, after hotspots, next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
The Beaumaris Motor Yacht Squadron is a trailer boat and social club on Port Phillip Bay. The club has a great range of facilities, including multiple boat ramps, ample car and trailer parking, boat wash and fish cleaning, fishing competitions and boat safety lectures, boating activities and club events, a restaurant and 2 bars. Easy launch and retrieval makes for a relaxing time on the water for you, your family and friends to enjoy. And boating memberships are now available. The Beaumaris Motor Yacht Squadron, the best trailer boat experience on the bay.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for, Fishing Hotspots, brought to you by the Beaumaris Motor Yacht Squadron, Melbourne's premier trailer boat club.
All right, the hotspots for this weekend, and I haven't even looked at the weather.
I've given up on the weather.
All it was like you said, what did you say? 8 degrees.
It was 9 degrees.
9 degrees coming in, that's ridiculous. Yeah. But anyway, if you want to get out of those westerlies and even the southerlies, St Leonard's is a great place for King George whiting at the moment. One of the things, I was out at Mud Island at the weekend and couldn't find a whiting to, find myself. But the one thing that was prolific out there was garfish, and we're going to have a big winter again on the garfish. There's no doubt. Last year was a cracking year, but Frankston Pier starting to see some garfish at the moment, and that'll only get better as the water gets colder. Over in Western Port, if you want some of those calamari, there's some big ones starting to move in now around the Tyab Bank, so enjoy those. King George whiting in Western Port, one place that...
You're making these up now. I've never heard of this.
Hey?
Yeah, never
Just round the corner from Tortoisehead Bank is Blake's channel.
Never heard of it.
No.
Blake's channel, all right. I tell you what,
this place I've heard of.
I wish I had a tinny.
Yeah.
Because if you could right now...
You could do it in a kayak.
Yeah. If you could right now, you'd be getting on your bike and heading down to Lake Bullenmerri, down near Camperdown, and getting into the Chinook salmon.
Definitely.
I was talking to the minister today, had a bit of a meeting with her, and she's about to go down that way in Portland, Warrnambool, but also to have a look at Purrumbete and Bullenmerri. And she hadn't been there before, and I described them as, I said, you'll be looking at 2 extinct volcanoes that are the only 2 places in Australia that have Chinook salmon.
Yep.
That makes it a pretty special place.
It
You ever been down there, Rod?
Yeah, and the
Good
fish is
places, aren't
spectacular when you see a big one.
Yeah. All right, and lucky last, if you want to get that autumn trout right now, I know Charlie May, who's been no stranger to the show, absolute great fly caster, and Charlie got up the Rubicon River last week and said some sensational brown trout are down there.
They're due for a few.
That's right.
Brook. There's a lot of brook trout.
Escape.
A little escape from the trout farm.
But
Charlie was right up in the hills, getting over boulders and everything, and catching some beautiful browns. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get back into this, Maggie. How do seasonal crowds change your day-to-day activities? Like, is it dead quiet during winter and then just boom in the summertime?
Yeah, so I guess we're very lucky in Mallacoota because we, as well as having an incredibly diverse and rich recreational fishing, crowds and visitation to the area. We also have a large commercial industry, a varied commercial industry. We have eastern zone abalone, sea urchin dive fisheries. We have ocean access fisheries. So. And they run all year. They're continuous. So that means that we always have something to focus on. And even our recreational fisheries, they continue all year too. We have people coming even in winter. We have a lot of our local fishers will continue fishing during that season. So it's excellent. It's a really
the population
place.
Booms at Christmas, doesn't it?
It does. I think it's a tenfold increase over the Christmas period, which is very exciting for the town. So.
Most people behave themselves?
Yeah, look, we have really good compliance in Mallacoota. And we like to educate people about how important our resources are up there so that they can continue to enjoy it for generations to come.
Yeah. It's one road in and out too, so you've got sort of at a...
That's it.
You're in trouble, you're in trouble.
That's right.
I visited Mallacoota about 14 months ago, flew in and actually you picked us up from the airport with Jala, and the bushfires had just gone through and am I right in saying it still hasn't fully recovered? Like all the houses haven't been rebuilt?
No, it's still definitely a process, and the community's moving forward as best we all can. Certainly a lot to be done. Houses are still to be rebuilt, but it's a very
The house you were living in was burnt down.
It was, yes, and I'm lucky enough to have gone through the rebuild process, which I'm very excited about. But I think it's a very strong, tight-knit community up there. So, and we're receiving a lot of support from both the rest of Victoria and interstate, with people coming to visit the area, and that's been immense through that period. So it's been wonderful.
Hey Rod, digital licences. We covered that on the show, I reckon nearly 2 years ago, the introduction of them, which means you don't have a physical licence. It sits on your phone, and during the break we found mine. It took a while, but we found, how's that from from your...
Look, it's a great concept. It means that if it's rough, we can pull up alongside a boat without actually having to pull right up alongside and open the app, and that licence can be shared with us, and we can view that it's in date and all that sort of stuff. A lot of fishers, when they go to buy a licence, it's just as they're about to rush out the door, so that is probably a little bit problematic, because it does mean you've got to open up an account and get set to get it, so that a little bit of a hurdle, and probably hasn't been as much take up there. Because of that, but it's definitely the way to go in the future. From
a percentage point of view, how many people have still got a card that you check? How many percent? Is it a high percentage still got the card?
99% that have a card.
I haven't anymore. I've got a digital, and I guess my thought process was I had the time to do it, but my thought process was that app or wherever it sits is going to tell me when it's going to run out, because unless you look at your hard copy, you just don't know, do you?
Well, you've always got it on your phone, so you can always open it up and have a look. So that's a bit easier to check. And whether it sends you a notification or not, I'm not sure about that.
I'll know in about a year. Anyway, hey, they're winding us up. Maggie, you've come a long way. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And Rod, thank you.
Thanks for the invite.
December 2015. We've taken a while to get you back, and I reckon we'll get you back again. So. It's been good. We could chat. We could chat to you both all night. Seriously, I mean, there's a lot to chat about, and it is good. And really appreciate you guys coming in tonight and sharing some of what you do for a living. I mean, it's you got 10 positions, I think, advertised for traineeship. There's probably about 10,000 people that will apply for that.
Last time. It's a good job.
That's it for Talking Fishing. Hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, it's the last Tuesday in April, and it's the last show of the season. Join us next Tuesday. We have a few highlights we want to show you. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.